everyone? Alright, welcome back to another video on the Pointless YouTube channel. And listen, I just want to thank you guys for the support on yesterday's video. I honestly really do appreciate it. But that's besides the point, because today we have something very, very interesting and sad to talk about today, because it's honestly, the entire situation is mind-boggling. Long story short, today we're going to be talking about a young man who sadly lost his life due to his girlfriend putting a hit on him, basically, you know, ordering somebody to take his life. And it's honestly heartbreaking to see this go down, dude. I've heard about this story a lot of times, and I decided, why not? Let's go ahead and cover it here on this channel. It's a crazy situation, and it definitely deserves some attention. Even though the situation is already massive, I decided, why not? Let's go over it today, educate some of you guys out there that may not know about this. But anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into the video. But before we do, if you guys want more people to find out about the situation, and you guys want to, you know, participate in helping this story spread more, go ahead and leave a like on the video, because when you leave a like, that gives this video a chance at getting pushed out to multiple more people, and they're recommended. Also, while you guys are at it, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, because I'm trying to hit 20,000 subscribers, and I do upload videos like this quite often. I do have two other ones similar to this on my channel, which you should totally check out after you're done watching this video. But without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about it. Now listen, stuff like this is sadly not anything new, alright? There's been a lot of unjustified passings, there's a lot of things that happen that shouldn't happen, and while there's been multiple stories like this in the past, but the thing about it that makes it so unique is the fact that the victim is 13 years old. Now, you see, when you're 13, alright, you definitely, you know, go through the stages of having a crush in school or liking specific girls and stuff like that. You know, it's the normal for a kid that is indeed a boy. And, you know, even girls, it's common you get to the point where you may get into a relationship. It's a little cringy thing that most of the time that doesn't ever really go anywhere. Now, being that things like this happen in school, you'd expect it not to be very, very serious, being that the parties involved are usually extremely young and know nothing about anything they're doing. And you'd expect it not to go past a certain point and just keep it very mellow and cringy and boring. But the interesting part about this is the 13-year-old victim, whose name is Oliver, let's just say he was in a relationship with a girl, and stuff is totally different with this relationship. Things between Oliver and this specific girl he was dating seemed to be way more serious than it should have been for a 13-year-old. And well, long story short, a problem started to arise with this entire relationship, and it was pretty interesting. Now, Oliver ended up finding out that his girlfriend was basically cheating on him and sending images of herself to other people. And well, keep in mind, these two are both very young. I believe she was 14 and Oliver was 13, but for the most part, both very, very extremely young. And well, Oliver found out about this, and he wasn't too happy about it, and confronted her about it, and well, she ended up getting annoyed by this. And well, instead of breaking up with Oliver, you know, strictly telling him she doesn't care, or just moving on from it, and, you know, being the kid that she is, she decided to do something way more sinister, which we'll get into further into this video, so make sure to stick around. Now, we all know how cringy Snapchat is, and how insane it can be, and the things you can end up finding on there. It's overall something every teenager really has been using in our day and age to communicate with their friends. They don't really use Instagram, Discord, no, they just really use Snapchat. And while on Snapchat, you can find some quite illegal things, to say the least. And well, this was right up Oliver's girlfriend's alley, alright? Because she had some things in mind that weren't quite legal, to say the least. And well, what she was about to do would not only affect her for the rest of her life, but Oliver's family, because she decided to, I kid you not, go on Snapchat and pay someone $155 to not only lure Oliver into an open forest, like a huge open, like, scenery in the middle of nowhere. She essentially not only paid these people to rob Oliver, but to stab him. And this is exactly what she ended up posting on her Snapchat story. 155 pounds up for grabs. My boyfriend has been making me mad lately, and yesterday he shouted at me for sending this to someone else. So I want to set him up to get him robbed or stabbed, but not killed. So just stab him in the hand or something to teach him a lesson. I will bring him to the destination for you to do it. Snap me if you want to do it. Need this done this week. And while you'd be thinking anyone with common sense would just ignore this, report this to the proper authorities, but no, because the deal ended up going through. And while according to a news article, the following went down like this. Now, before I do read out everything that happened, I want to show you guys a video of the guy who, you know, took out Oliver and, you know, agreed to the deal, what he was saying about Oliver the day before he ended up taking his life.
You dumb Audi, bro, I'll kill you, fam. I'll f***ing end you. Watch, if you're on badness, yeah? If you're on bad, listen, I'm coming outside your school tomorrow. Be there, Have your shank and we'll see what I want.
That's literally him making a threat, like a full-on threat with a weapon in his hand, you know, towards Oliver, telling him that he was going to end his life. But the sad thing about it is Oliver never saw this and was never really warned about it. So looking back at it now, he was pretty much doomed from the start, and it's honestly so sad to see this happen. Now, the article I detailed earlier that went on to talk about how this situation with Oliver's life being taken went down goes as follows. Officers were called just before 4 p.m. on Sunday following reports of a stabbing in Bugs Bottom Fields in Emma Green, 2 miles north of Reading City Center. Witnesses said passersby desperately tried to revive Ollie while they waited for paramedics. He was pronounced dead at the scene. The park is only 250 yards from the $600,000 home Ollie shared with his sister, mother Amanda, who works in HR, and father Stuart, both aged 51. Parents outside Highdown School, where Ollie had been due to rejoin his classmates tomorrow morning, described the killing as utterly senseless. Now, this entire situation is honestly horrific, and it's just, I don't even know why it happened. It should not have happened at all. Luckily, though, all of the suspects have been arrested, and, you know, further actions or further protocols are being in the process right now. It's all being worked on. The case is still open. And well, soon enough, justice will be fully served for Oliver and his family, man. This is honestly just so sad. Like, the fact that stuff like this happens in the first place is disgraceful. You know, like a 13-year-old, man. A 13-year-old is just no longer here, dude, simply because of something so small and something so petty in retrospect that could have easily been moved past, man. It's just something else, and the fact that this even just happened in the first place, and all the parties involved, even the people that, you know, did this to Oliver, are all so young. It's really ridiculous, man. It's sad, and it's honestly just senseless. Like the person in the article, you know, ended up saying, it's very, very senseless. This should not have happened at all. Like, what possesses you to get up in the morning and post on your Snapchat story, hey guys, do you mind taking out my boyfriend for me because he called me out on something I was in the wrong for because I was being really, really bad? Like, the fact that he's pretty much just been taken out of this world, the fact that Oliver's just gone, like, forever simply because he shouted at her in retrospect for something she did is just, it's so sad. But I think a nice moral of the story here is just don't trust anybody. Always be careful, because you may think this person genuinely cares for you or likes you, but they probably don't want to see the best for you, and to be honest, they probably will do things like this. Not saying everybody will or everybody would, but you really, really never know anybody's true intentions, and you always gotta be careful, man, because this is a prime example of what can happen if, you know, you put the trust into the wrong person, and they end up trying to harm you or take you out or, you know, cause some massive drama. It just try to stay away from that, man. Try to be careful. But you know what? That's it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to drop a like and subscribe, and if you do decide to subscribe with notifications on so you get notified every time I upload a video, because I do upload every day here on the Pointless YouTube channel. And yeah, without further ado, rest in peace, Oliver, and yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow with another upload, and yeah, that's all I gotta say. Peace.